Welcome to Infinite Returns, Commercial Real Estate Investing. Brought to you by Infinity Commercial Capital. We help people find money. We are investors, lenders, and financing advisors. And this podcast is about real estate investing and helping you. Whether it's investing in residential rental properties or commercial properties, we talk about lending and all things real estate. From newbie to experienced, from funding to the strategy it takes to find success. Welcome your host, Karl Baker.
All right, well, welcome to our show, Infinite Returns, a show about real estate investing. I'm your host, Karl Baker, the CEO of our sponsor, Infinity Commercial Capital. I'm a licensed CPA, a real estate investor myself, and looking forward to talking with you today. We're sponsored by Infinity Commercial Capital, as I mentioned, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Today, my guest is Dr. Hank Seitz from Dr. Hank Inc. We talked a bit before the show, and I'm really looking forward to having you hear what he has to say and hear our conversation. Today, we're going to talk about the power of thought and getting past some of your mental barriers. And I'm sure he would say all these things differently, but that's just the way I'm setting this up. Let me just say, Dr. Hank, hello, and welcome to the show, Infinite Returns, and introduce yourself. One of the other things we do is we like to be involved in our community. So as you're in your introduction, talk about what your favorite cause is that you like to contribute to.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Karl, and welcome everybody. Thank you for coming up and showing up. And you're going to really love our time together that we're going to talk about what science has proven, and that is how thoughts become things. And so we all have dreams, and that for any of our dreams to come to fruition, it starts with our thought. And specifically on where my passion is and to help the community, to help the world, I actually on Mondays at 1 o'clock Eastern, I have what's called the Master Heart Family. And what we do, we talk about the miracles that are happening in our life. And so that is very uplifting. We then do a meditation that really gets and helps us to go within and to clear our thoughts and to help us to move forward with this amazing life that we can literally be, do, and have everything that we want, Karl.
My goodness. So do you care to share a little bit of your background and how you got to this point?
Sure, you bet. That if I do education at University of Wisconsin-Madison and my business degree, but then and I'm a behavioral psychologist, but my PhD is in mental science. Mm-hmm. And so I'm a mental scientist, and that basically is the study of how the mind works and how we can have the mind play, if you will, in our favor. And so we have 60,000 thoughts a day, Karl, and about 80% of those thoughts are what most people will call negative thoughts, but I like to call unwanted thoughts. And so we have either wanted or unwanted. It's easier to differentiate between, is this a wanted or an unwanted thought, but 80% are unwanted thoughts. And since our thoughts create our future, that no wonder why most people aren't very happy, successful, whatever, aren't having their dreams come true, because they have 80% of their thoughts and with unwanted thoughts. And a little bit more about my background. I started with Procter & Gamble and became executive with them. I left them, started my own consulting company, consulted in Fortune 100 companies around the world, because I literally have a process that could guarantee measurable results for any person or any business. And in those travels, I had an opportunity to buy a mortgage company.
Oh,
and down in Florida, actually. And now I'm in Texas, but bought into and owned a real estate company. And so I'm a licensed loan officer, licensed real estate agent, broker. And basically, though, I don't I'm not engaged in the everyday of that, I have found ways to leverage that on referrals, business models that pay me passive income on a monthly basis, and investment. And I help investors become successful investors, and have helped several just in the last year to literally have their business take off, their investment, their portfolio take off, and and get to what they want. And again, it all starts with the mind. I didn't have to, give them $1 million for them to be successful. That we can literally think, and the ideas can come to us, and we are attractors. We attract the things, whatever we're thinking about, and whatever we think about, whatever we focus on, grows. And most people, again, are thinking about unwanted things, and thus they get an unwanted life.
Right. Well, that's a fantastic introduction, and it resonates. Personally. It resonates from interaction with people that I talk to in the business world. So many people are wanting to do more than what they are currently doing, but they don't know how. And some of that, there might be whatever restrictions, but I'm quite sure on a majority basis, it has to do with their own fears and mental blockages. So yeah, let's just dive in. Let's talk about that. You mentioned early in your summary that thoughts become things, and talk about that.
You bet, Carl. That and this is really fascinating. I would recommend everybody to take notes. It'll help to internalize this information better. But basically, science has proven, and the disciplines the last 5 to 7 years, quantum physicists, molecular biologists, neuroscientists, all the disciplines have identified and agreed and have proven on how to create anything in our lives. And according to the scientists, it's just 3 steps. And the first step to have your dreams come true, your portfolio expand, your success, your happiness, your relationships, your health, anything, that it all starts with step 1, our all-powerful thought. We have been blessed with this amazing ability to literally mold the energies that creates worlds into our life and into our experience. And according to the scientists, and again have proven that this is how to create our dreams to come true or anything else, is that our thoughts then create energy. And this energy to you and I, what we would call, is our emotions, our feelings. And that's why I've written 21 books. And one of the books that I have written, there was a book written back in the 1930s by Napoleon Hill, and it was Think and Grow Rich. And I took his original manuscript, which is public domain, and found that they edited out the word vibration 37 times in that book. And so I wrote a book called Think, Feel, and Grow Rich, because it's about this feeling. And so for example, some people say, oh, just say affirmations like I am rich. Okay. Well, you'll never be rich, because when you say I am rich, and for most people, that they're feeling that they aren't rich. Okay? So the actual emotion that they're sending, the energy they're sending, is they're not rich, even though they said they were rich. It has to do with how am I really feeling. So I have magical statements for people to be able to get this alignment. If we go biblically on this, that it says that when 2 of you are in agreement, that it'll be manifested on earth. And the 2 are 2 people. It's our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. And in fact, one of my books that I've written is called Your Royal Path to Riches. And it talks about how we have to have agreement. And so I can't say I am rich, because my subconscious mind is going to say bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
And we're going to hit heads there. But if I say things like I easily accept new prosperity thoughts, there's no problem with that thought, being accepted into your subconscious, which is where your beliefs are, and which it is done onto us as we believe, if you will. So back to science, our thought creates energy, which is our feelings, and that energy then, according to science that they've proven, creates matter, matter. And this is why thoughts become things. So your thoughts on that?
Um, wow. I tend to think of these things as the mental blocks that cause us perhaps to go in one direction because we're not worthy of going in another direction. And so we go in that direction, and that might send us in a different direction. And we're much more capable of doing, we're capable of doing more than what we think we can. So, I'm not able to talk about it in scientific terms the way you are. I do think of course, I bring spiritual components into it, and the Bible and those sort of things, and what it encourages us to do. But I think of it from a drop your mental blocks and just believe that you have the ability, the God-given ability, to achieve more than what you think you can achieve.
Well, you're right. You're right on there, Karl. And so a couple of comments to that, if you put a fish in a small bowl of water, that fish goes in a small circle. And when you put that fish in a larger bowl with more water, that fish still goes in that small circle. And that's what the symbolism of what you're talking about is, hey, we don't believe that we can have the bigger bowl, if you will, swim in the bigger water. So it doesn't matter what we're offered. And we're getting miracles every day. But we typically don't go there because we say, no, this is, my little
little world
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't do it. But to get into more understanding of this is on this thought, and you talk about blockages, etc. And I'll make this very easy for us all. And believe me, by the time we're done here, you'll be able to manifest way more than you've ever manifested before. And here it is. It's in our thought, these 60,000 thoughts that and 80% of them unwanted thought. What is that 80% unwanted? And what I call that is the committee. And the committee is something that we have created in our minds and imagined in our minds. It's that little voice that keeps you up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And it's that voice saying, oh, I'm not good enough, or I can't do that, or I'm afraid, or whatever. And to just imagine that we have a mahogany table in our mind, beautiful mahogany table with these beautiful black executive chairs at it. And they're basically running the show 80% of the time. Okay. And who's sitting, the characters sitting around this beautiful table and black leather executive chairs is our characters called fear, which is actually false evidence appearing real. And what I do, I help people to take fear and face everything and rise. And so again, fear, false evidence, because most of the things that we fear don't ever happen to us. They're shadows, and we can shine our light on them. And what happens when we shine our light on anything? They go away. Same in the committee. Fear, worry, doubt, complaining, blame, shame, guilt. And the head of the committee is the judge. And who's the judge? It's judging you. And it's not saying nice things. It's judging you didn't do enough. You didn't say that. Why? What have you done that? I could have had this. And then we sit in our pity party. And the committee loves that. The only devil, if you will, the only power or energy working against any of us is our own committee. And we are the ones that get to choose. So we don't have to own these thoughts anymore. These thoughts are not enough, or, I hate to get into a real estate investment, and what happens if? Well, if you start splitting your energy of thinking about, oh, I could lose the money, or, we could get sued, or whatever silly thought you're thinking about, whatever I've already shared with you, that whatever we think about, that grows, it expands. So I'm not going to be thinking about these thoughts that I don't want. I'm not going to have a plan B. It splits my energy. It's like, hey, if I want to be an investor, then I'm going to be an investor and take the first step, and then just breathe deeply and ask. And so you mentioned that, or do you want to comment on that?
No, I was just gonna, that great way to metaphorically picture these voices in our heads. We all have these voices, and I read a lot from a Christian perspective, and a lady named Joyce Meyer, she wrote a book that's called "Do It Afraid." And we're all aware of the fact that there's a lot of fear that, for whatever reason, gets into our minds, and we have to overcome that every day. Easier said than done. But I like the metaphor, the visual image. So I guess I know you were going to say something, but to further that point. But what do you do? How do you explain to people how to eliminate that board, how to kick the members out of the boardroom on your shoulder?
Yeah. So first of all, don't give it any energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we do is we will, so this world, looking at it from a more broader perspective, this world, we all signed up to be in this world. And this world has everything we want in it and everything we don't want. And what I call what we don't want is contrast. And the reason why there's contrast, and again, we signed up for this, is that when we brush up against contrast, that it helps us to understand this is what I don't want. So you're asking, what do I do with this? That you simply say, without a charge, it's what I don't want. A fight, an argument, a deal goes south, whatever it is you don't want, this is what I don't want. And then ask, what do I want? And it's, wow, I want my investments to, grow. I want this to be easy. I want this to be fun. I want to enjoy myself. I want to live the abundant life. We've been promised the abundant life, but most don't live it. And so, like, even in your statement where, Karl, and I'll be soft on you on this, but when you say, and every day it's a battle and shit, well, yeah, you're in a battle then. And if you say that, you will, that this is all easy, that I just need to. And here's the beautiful thing is I don't need to monitor 60,000 thoughts. All I need to do is monitor how I feel. And so I'm going to expand on this now, because you brought up Christianity, and I'm an ordained minister. And the reason why I became an ordained minister and not denominational is I wanted to understand this God thing. I understood how thoughts created my life, my experience, but I didn't understand where God came in. And so because of that, I now honor all religions, and I understand where this loving divine energy, how this plays. So it's not 3 steps it creates, but we only need to do 2 out of the 5 steps. And the first step is just like the scientist said, it all starts with our thought. Biblically, it's ask and you shall receive. We got to do the asking. So it's not when our prayer is not when we're just on our hands and knees and our hands folded on our knees, that our prayer is our every day, every moment thought. And so our thought creates, just like the scientist said, energy. And that energy goes to step 3. That my feelings, so the way I communicate to my higher power is through my feelings. It's the perfect communication. I can't lie to God, if you will, because my feeling is truly on how, whatever my thoughts are, on how what that is. And those thoughts in step 3, our higher power, God, the universe, whatever term you want to use, that in step 3, your prayer is instantly received and instantly answered. That's why our prayers have been answered. And so, but people say to me, but Dr. Hank, where's my money? Where's my stuff? man, that God answered it. Where is it? Well, where it is an energy form, this loving energy form with answers to everything that we want. But we have to do step 4 to take it from this energy form and to allow it. I call it ABE, allow, believe, and expect. And when I allowed it, what does that mean in practical terms? Well, you can't be saying like, hey, I'm going to jump all in now. I'm going to do this real estate investment and this is great. And then all of a sudden, step 4, instead of allowing and saying that, I disallow by saying, oh, it's too good to be true. Well, now you're right. It will be too good to be true. Okay. And I like using the lottery that, I'm never going to win that. Well, then you're right. I just won $1,000 that on one of the fun scratch offs that you can't take to a retailer. You got to go to the main place, the main office in Dallas to get. And there were a couple of people that had won $1 million, and it's like, there's people that are winning millions of dollars every week, but those are the people that are allowing, believing, expecting. And so I think it's not about the money, it's about everything. Money is just freedom. Money equals freedom. And then it gives us more choices, variety, a gift from God, our higher power, however you want to, again, position that. So in step 4, I allow, believe, and expect. And what I do, I go to step 4 and it's receive. Ask and receive. And in the middle, the Father does the work. You mentioned earlier, Karl, about, I got to figure out the how. That's where we slip out because we've been told you got to go figure it out. Our job, if you will, is to only, if you do the 5 W's, we do what we want and why we want it. I want to grow my investment portfolio. Why? Because I love that I love being able to build, and create this, whatever it is, residential, retail,
Sure.
commercial.
Yeah.
That is that, I love doing that I love the money. I love having money. It gives me more choices, more variety. But you think about, why don't people have a lot of money? Well, hell, we've been brought up with, it's the root of all evil, which is a misunderstanding of the Bible. The Bible was saying, put God first, all these come from God, and that if you, for example, love money first, is in Christ's time, money was represented by sheep. If I got a sheep under my arm, that certainly isn't the root of all evil. So we've been given all these beliefs that have disallowed the abundant life. And now we've got to allow it by only thinking about what and why, and allow God to do the who, when, and where.
Wow. Well, this is putting process to, again, I'm not going to be able to use your language exactly. I'll have to listen to this show again and take more notes, but it's putting process to successful living. And, I want to say positive thinking, but I feel like you're exclaiming something more than that. So I'm just going to say success living.
Beautiful. Yeah. And that's exactly right. This isn't really positive thinking. This is wanted. And see, I'm on the wanted side. Now it becomes easy. Now here's the other part of the equation that's just beautiful. We have been guided all of our lives, every moment of our lives, by our higher power. And people say, well, I didn't hear God, the Christmas movie, God is some guy up over here, within us. But here's how it is that, so I mentioned to you that the way that this is, and this, I've helped thousands of people around the world, Fortune 100 companies and everything, that when we understand it's our emotion that from our thought that goes in this our communication system to God, well, vice versa, that our higher power communicates to us through our feelings. So when you're thinking about something that makes you feel bad, that's God telling you, you're simply off track. You're not thinking about this the way that I am. When you feel good, you are. So now you know where the committee is. Every time, anytime that you're feeling bad, that what this is telling you is that I'm not thinking about this the way that my higher power. And all you have to do is ask, how should I be thinking about this? Show me the way. And literally, you will attract the people, the circumstances, the thoughts, the events, everything in order to show you the way, just one step at a time.
So that's fantastic. So give some examples of this is a real estate investing show, and I'm assuming our listeners will hear this and it will resonate in one fashion or another, depending on where they are in their life. And it should resonate with everybody, but still more so with some people than others. Give an example as to how you get started with a relatively new real estate investor and get them started through a program to help them be a successful real estate investor.
You bet. And let me give you a real live example.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a relatively new investor. She had bought a couple of condos. She just was investing in condos. And she basically came to me and she said, I just can't grow my investment portfolio. I said, why not? And so she started telling me about what she didn't want. She goes, well, there's no inventory. There's no, lenders out there. And I said, hold on, there's plenty of inventory. That I had a real estate agent last year do 71 listings. But most agents would tell you, oh, there's no inventory out there. This world I shared with you has everything I want and everything I don't want. She brushed up against what she didn't want. She went to one lender and the lender wouldn't give her money. And she went into her pity party saying, oh, I can't get any money. I said, hey, this simply is, let's think differently on that. What do you want? Well, I want lenders. So start attracting lenders. So she attracts a lender. Then she tells me, well, let me help you. That the next step was that she had said no inventory. Well, she attracted a broker who had, on a regular, consistent basis, was offering her, and they became friends and everything, was offering her inventory on condos to invest in. But then she came to me, and again, this is me, coaching with her, and and she says, oh, but now I don't have good renters, good people that lease my condos. And I said, well, that's simply what you don't want. What do you want? And she said, oh, I get this. I stopped thinking about what I think is reality. Reality is not in front of us. We've been taught that it is. Look at your bank account, look at what's going on. But reality, I shared with you, proven by science, reality is what I'm thinking right now. So I don't, and God doesn't care if I've been thinking about the past, present, or future. Whatever I'm thinking of, I'm going to get. So if I say, oh my God, there aren't any good, people to lease my condos, then that's your prayer and you won't find anybody. But when you say, oh, that's simply what I don't want, what do I want? I want really great tenants that, are long-term. And so she did. And she built a multi-million-dollar portfolio in less than 2 years. And so could you.
Fantastic. So when she break it down on a micro level, when she opened up her mind to this different way of thinking, I'm assuming, you talked about lenders, realtors, tenants. I'm assuming it opened up her mind to just, and again, I'm not going to be able to use your language, but she tried harder, networked with lenders and found lenders that are aligned.
Wait, what this?
Yep.
Yeah, let me give you, the words are that because she was asking for what she wanted and did try to figure out how is it networking or whatever, that what came to her, so she attracted into her life different avenues to be able to all of a sudden have amazing tenants and to come to her and, resources in order to get even more money and that. And she was leveraged out. At one point she came to me and she said, oh my God, I'm in so much debt. And I said, well, now hold on. Now you are. that let's just look at how much if you sold every one of your properties. She said, oh my God, I have almost $1 million. So I said, exactly. That you can't think about debt and not think that you're going to attract more debt. What you want to think about is the investment and how your equity is growing. And so this is not a world of insertion where all of a sudden something just comes into my life. We are the creators of our own experience, Carl. And we do it through our thoughts. And with God, with our higher power, we get whatever we think about, whether we like it or not, whether we want it or not, because there is no judgment. Whatever you're asking for, you're going to get. So why don't all of us get out of the battle, lay down, quit the battle with the committee, and lay that all down and just say, what do I want? And start writing down what I want. And for those of you that want a fast track to get there, I have a Joy Shop that I can offer you that you can contact me. My number is 214-753-7204. Again, 214-753-7204. Or an easy one, email me, drhank@drhank.biz, B-I-Z. And I'll send you what's called the Joy Shop. And this Joy Shop will change your life. And it's where we become deliberate creatives. Most of us are lazy in our thought. We just think we wake up and we go face life. That, hey, there's a whole new world out there for all of us, and it's a bright future.
No, I think that's I enjoy hearing your coaching. What I was trying to get to with the micro level, at some point there is work involved, and you're disagreeing. You're disagreeing.
Play.
Huh?
Who the hell wants to work?
Well,
nobody wants to work. Okay. So there's play.
Okay.
And it's very easy. And all it is I just need to start thinking about what I want. And all I need to do is pay attention to my feelings.
Yeah.
As long as I'm feeling good, I'm on my lighted path, and everything will be coming my way.
Okay.
I allow it, I believe it, and I expect it. Yeah. We are so ingrained with, you got to work hard to get what you want. When you work hard, you go upstream, and none of your desires are upstream.
Yeah.
And so the easy way is, and the fun way, and the playful way is, do the Joy Shop in the morning, and you'll get everything you want.
Okay. Well, we'll certainly have to check that out. I'm still trying to reconcile with that, there still is a level of effort, and call it what you want, but there still has to be a level of effort. And I'm not disagreeing with your commentary about the opening up your mind and getting rid of the unwanted thoughts. I mean, I think that's very powerful. And I think about that in my own life, to be honest, and in my own way, but it's I haven't studied it from an academic perspective, so it really resonates with me. And I was just trying to illustrate. I was assuming what that meant is, and I'll try to use your language, when she invited the wanted thoughts into her mind and eliminated the unwanted thoughts, she still needed to do something with that. Find a lender, find a realtor.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to get at.
She attracted. So again, the word is attracted.
Yep.
She didn't have to find. She attracted. But I think what we're looking for here, that on common ground, if you will, is it's not do, because we end up with do. Okay. What it is inspired action.
Okay. Fair
so
enough.
When I feel good, I'll all of a sudden pick up the phone and talk to someone, or I'll all of a sudden see that there's a great networking, or, I see this broker, I meet this broker, and I'm attracting all of this into my life. And yes, there is inspired action. But there's no work, there's no effort, because if you ask for work and effort, then you're going to have to work and effort yourself. And I'm doing that.
Yes. Okay. That's good. I appreciate that. And I'm not going to go work anymore. I'm going to have inspired action. So
And go play.
perfect.
I'm going to go play.
That's awesome. Well, fantastic. Lots of lessons here. And as Dr. Hank mentioned, we need to listen and take notes, probably worthy of listening to this a couple times and letting this absorb like a good book, and then joining some of his calls. We'll put on the screen the phone number and email information that he mentioned, and the website, drhankseitz, Seitz.com. That'll be on the screen. So we'll put that on there and all that information. Also, do you want to give, do we reach out through those sources to connect to your weekly calls? Is that all on that?
Yeah. Actually, I can give that to you. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
Everything is like this. I asked for it that way. But it's tinyurl.com. So tinyurl, www.tinyurl.com. And then / and then Master Heart Family. And that's the link, 1:00 Eastern time on Monday. And all it is similar-minded people talking about the miracles that are happening in our life, and then going into a meditation, which basically means that we walk with God. And we actually, one of my books is called Walk with God, and it was this group, this inspiring group, and we continue to grow, and we have people from all around the world on it, and it's just a fun time, and it will uplift you and make you feel better, and that's all you need to get all that you want.
Wow, that's fantastic. So we'll make sure we have that right, and we'll put that on the screen and in the show notes. Dr. Hank, final comments from you, and as we wrap this show up, and what's your parting encouragement?
Yeah, that really, it's all about feeling good, because your higher power, our higher power, is in joy at all times, has never been disappointed with you, has never looked at anything wrong. Everything's played out perfectly. The contrast that you have, that God instantly went to what you did want and was in joy. And all we need to do is go to joy. And so I ask for that. I want better feeling thoughts, and I want to feel better. And if you just do those two things, you'll be given the inspired action that Karl was talking about. And also attract, and be like a magnet, and attract the thoughts, the people, the circumstances, everything that you want to have your dreams come true.
All right. Well, we will end it with that. Thank you very much, Dr. Hank. I really appreciate it. Appreciate the conversation. I learned a lot, and we'll look forward to checking out the resources that you've made available today as well. So a quick word about, thank you again. A quick word about our sponsor, Infinity Commercial Capital. We help people find money. We're lenders, financing advisors, providing permanent bridge and construction financing for commercial enterprises, everything from 1 to 4 rental properties through multifamily, storage units, commercial real estate, you name it. Our value propositions are that we actually represent you, the borrower, to find the capital that you need. One of our other popular products is a 30-year fixed rate commercial loan, not able to be found on the banking, in the banking community generally. There's a time and a place for everything, but we really like the 30-year fixed rate loan. Bridge loans for residential and commercial properties for rehab or other purposes. And then finally, construction loans as well. Simplified underwritings in many cases, oftentimes no tax returns, et cetera. So we'd really like to work with you on that. Thank you very much for indulging me on that little plug. You can find more at infinitycomcapital.com. We'll put that in the show notes. 314-403-7745, info@infinitycomcapital.com. You can also find us all over the place in social media. We're trying to provide lots of content and education for those that are following us. If you like this show and want to hear other guests, past and present, follow the show or like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and we'd appreciate that. And then those future shows will be available to you as we present those. If you have questions, comments, then we'd really appreciate if you would add comments to the show. Give us a rating on the audio platforms or in YouTube. That really helps us advance the cause. And with that, I'm just going to say thank you for listening. We'll have future content coming out shortly. Looking forward to that. And a final thank you to Dr. Hank. And we will talk to you all again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Questions, comments, want to be a guest? You can reach Karl at kbaker@infinitycomcapital.com. You can find all episodes of Infinite Returns Commercial Real Estate Investing on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, happy investing.